Okay, well, I have 5:30. I will call this meeting to order. We will start with the consent agenda. All the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved at AHA meetings will be approved by one vote unless any trustee desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. The consent agenda consists of the discussion, consideration, and action on the following items. Minutes of the monthly finance meeting on August 21st, 2018. Minutes of the regular trustee meeting on August 21st, 2018. And a check report August 9th, 2018 through September 8th, 2018.
Move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Have a motion by Dr. Brown and a second by Hayla Simon to approve the consent agenda. Roll call vote, please.
Gasper.
Yes.
Randalls.
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
All right, next item is the CEO's report. Candace?
Well, the swing bed program is hopping. Thank you, Rita, for that infusion of people in beds, and the staff are really doing a great job of transitioning. It's a total different kind of care. But they've been really busy, working well together, and we're just trying to keep enough equipment and bodies to take care of everybody. But it's been going well, and we are thankful for all the patients that we do have. As you can see, we've been busy. One of the things that we've been working on, obviously, is learning more and more about critical access and how to run a critical access hospital. Several of us went down to Okeen a few weeks ago and spent several hours with their staff, which was really good. We learned some good stuff. We've also been on the phone and talked with Corey Kaiser from OSU about some services that they offer that we can take advantage of as a critical access hospital. So we're learning as we go. We still have not, we did receive a couple of payments. We're not sure what they were paying us for. We're just happy to get the money. But hopefully by the end of the week, Kevin will tell you more about that. We'll know a little bit more. But basically just stuff, trying to stay busy. We have made a little bit of change in the urgent care, trying to save some money because things have been really tight. We cut the independent contractor we were using every other week. We cut him to PRN, and Dr. Hicks and Brian Nutter are going to be staffing those shifts in the urgent care. Dr. Hicks will continue to see patients in the downtown clinic as well, but he will be covering urgent care shifts, and Brian will too. Brian, due to regulations, will not be able to be working in the emergency room any longer. That is not because of anything we did, but just the Board of Nursing and what they will allow an APRN to do. Brian doesn't have the appropriate credentials going forward, the way that they interpret it, so he'll be covering urgent care shifts. So, as you can see, we attended several meetings. We did meet with Gene Sands from SSM regarding our IT needs going forward. As you know, our servers are aging out, and we are going to have to be making a decision as to what we're going to do. Replacement costs on those servers would be well up into the $1 million mark or so, and so we did speak with SSM about what we could do, looking at going maybe to Epic. So we'll be talking more about that in the future and what our options might be there. One of the things that kind of hit our community hard is finding out that the Lutheran daycare is going to be closing in December. So there are several of us that are meeting to try and come up with a solution to meet the needs of, obviously, our workers that impacts, because we've got to have staff have a place for their kiddos to go. So the meeting that we were supposed to have yesterday was canceled. We've met once, but that is something we're working on. I attended OHA's Board Strategic Planning back a couple weeks ago, last week, 2 weeks ago. Anyway, that was neat, and learned a lot from that. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I've got one question.
Okay.
Under the, being new, I'm just trying to work my way through this. Under the risk management and compliance section,
District.
it says, and I just looked at it, it says the grievance acknowledgement and resolution letter has been sent to the patient representative. Is that an attorney? Is that?
It could be.
I mean,
It could
is
be
that
a
something
family
that we as
member.
a board need to be concerned about, or I'm just kind of trying to figure out exactly what that section means and what that is.
I'm not sure which one that was
Well,
on.
I think I know which one it is. This one went back to a family member, and what those grievances are is when a patient comes back to the facility once they've been discharged and has any concern that we need to evaluate or whatever, we have to respond within, I think it's 7 days of their grievance with us, whatever it might be. It might be that they felt that the charge was done incorrectly. It could be
Anything.
It could be a number of different things. I can tell you that this one here was really a patient, family member. They were concerned about something that a physician did, but it was nothing that would have been any concern. Truthfully, it was just they thought the physician didn't handle something the way they thought it should have been handled. So we had to respond back. Because once you leave the facility, we were required to respond back to all those grievances. So
In writing.
in writing. So
Is that the
If there were something that was
if there is something that was
litigious, we definitely would be having a conversation. Most of these things are customer complaint type things. Sometimes, like on occasion, not very often.
And on that Brian Nutter deal, that was something that the Medical Association recently made changes to.
Board of Nursing.
Board of Nursing made changes to. It's not anything he has done or hasn't done. I just want to make that
Is it
clear.
anything that he easily can get what you need to do, or
Not
is it not that?
Not
simple?
easily. He
No.
looked into it,
And there's no sort of grandfather, I mean, it's just a, you
No.
either are or you aren't.
yeah.
Okay.
And it's nurse practitioners that are affected, so it's
Yeah.
not just him. I mean, it's all nurse practitioners. He just happens to be the only one we have.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Okay, any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the CEO report as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Brown, a second by Steve Ward, to accept the Share Medical Center written report for September 18th, 2018. Roll call vote, please.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Casper.
Yes. Candace, thank you. Next is the CFO's report. Kevin?
Okay. For the month of August, we posted $1,838,812 worth of charges, which was about $6,430 decrease compared to the prior month. Total patient days for August were 92 compared to 74 in July. Clinic visits for August was up quite a bit. We had 1,572 visits in August compared to 1,237 in July. Contractuals, less bad debts, and charity care was 58.1% of gross patient revenue. And we wrote off $233,647 to the collection agency. And the reason that's so high this month, if you remember last month I didn't do write-off, so that's really 2 months worth there. And so that's been, we normally average about $120,000 each month, so it looks large, but it's only because we did this the prior month. Charity care for the month of August totaled $3,636. We had net operating loss for August of $165,816, and after sales tax and everything, we had a net loss of $90,374, which is better than the last 2 months where we lost over $170,000. So that was an improvement there. We flip over to page 2. It's your income statement for the last 6 months. The areas that you probably wondered about, the salaries were down. We had staff gone last month, and that made a difference in our salaries and wages, as well as we was continuing to monitor overtime as well. And so that's the reason we've seen that decrease there. It will uptick back up in September. We'll get all the staff back and they're working again. And with us being busy on the floor, that also makes a huge difference as well. The other line item that's down quite a bit is other expenses. And that's down mainly 70-some thousand of that is due to the shop payment, and the rest of it is just us watching the other expense line items as well. Like I said, last month we lost $260,000 from operation. This month, $165,816. I can tell you that September will be a lot better. We are a lot busier. We've already got more days as of today, about 30 more days right now than we had for the whole month of August, and we still got a half a month to go. So that's going to be I think September you guys are going to be, well, I'm going to be happy. I think you guys will be too with the outcome of that. Like I said, we lost $90,374 for the month. Turn over to page 4. You can see the 2 years side to side. Right now we're at about a $269,362 loss compared to $206,165. Those numbers will change, just to let you know. We're being conservative. I've talked with the auditors. They want me to stay conservative until we have the opportunity to file an interim cost report for the critical access, which we'll do in October, and we'll adjust those numbers. But I can tell you that that loss will not be as big as that once we get done with that. But the rates, I think last month when we had our meeting, I did not have the rates. We did get the rates in the very last week in August. Those rates were a lot less than what we expected, even less than what the auditors expected that did our projections. And the only way we can get those rates up to a higher rate is to file an interim cost report, which we will do. Medicare is very conservative as far as making payments. They do not want to overpay anybody whenever they change statuses. So we'll file an interim cost report in October, and we'll probably file at least maybe one more before the end of our fiscal year to keep making sure our cost goes up, because, like I said, Medicare just wants to make sure they don't end up with us having a big IOU to them at the end. They want to be owing us. So it'll probably be a year process before we get all of our funds in, but we will get all of our funds in eventually. It just will have to go through the cost report settlements sometimes to get it there. Page 5 is our statement of cash flow. We had $135,851 at the end of July compared to $106,000 at the end of August compared to $106,000 in July. Our accounts receivable actually went down. Flip over to page 6 from the prior month. And a lot of that was we had some billings and stuff that we had hung up with some of the Medicare issues. You can see Medicare actually went down, even though we had to hold on to some of our billings. We had some inpatient claims in prior months that had not gotten billed out, and we was able to get those billed out and get paid in August, and so that made a big difference there. Page 8 and 9 is, of course, your balance sheet, and then pages 10 on is your statistical summaries. You can see a lot of departments actually seeing increases in volumes. I mean, physical therapy seeing an increase, X-ray seeing huge increases compared to prior months. You can look at that. It kind of gives you the different items. And like I said, our big area of increase was our clinic visits. We went from 1,237 up to 1,572, a little over 300 some visits. And some of those were physicals, but not all of that was physicals. They were actually being seen for other elements. So that's a really good sign as for us to be busy on the outpatient side. Is there any questions I can answer?
You know, one of the things we talked about, and Kelly, I don't know if you can shed some light on this, but in the first 2 months of this fiscal year compared to the first 2 months of the last fiscal year, I think our sales tax receivable was down about $27,000. I don't know if you've been to any other meetings. Is that happening throughout the state, or is that just here?
I haven't asked throughout the state. I've been to other meetings that we have talked about, economic factors, but There aren't any cities that are just really flush right now.
Okay. Okay. Have we received, Kevin, is that August or is that July? On those sales tax?
That would be July's.
So
We haven't got
received
August yet, because that'll be in September. Right, that's how the sales tax, so it's a month behind, I mean, when it falls.
Yeah.
June or July?
Well, I think
That
it's,
quickly?
I think it's June.
I do too.
I think it's June sales in the city. The taxes off of those sales.
Because as a retailer, those are due, at the end of June would be due July 20th.
Something like that, yeah.
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 And then those post within 10 days
Yeah.
usually. So for us, in August, we would have received the check from June.
June, right.
Yeah.
So September's would be from July. It might be October before those start coming back up, or at least, well,
If you'd like, I can do some research.
I just wondered what other, if that's a trend that we need to be preparing for, or if we've just hit a low point. I mean, because at the end of the year, that could be about $200,000 difference.
No, I'd be prepared for it because there's not been really any rhyme or reason to things that we hear that's going on in our regional economy those numbers should be higher. And so I don't have answers for,
That at the moment.
yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you, didn't mean to put you on the spot, just thought I'd ask.
Thanks, Jason.
Next time I'll prepare you ahead of time. Any other questions for Kevin or Kelly? If not, Kevin, thank you for your report. And we look forward to that optimistic financials next month. Next item is Medical Staff Executive Committee, and Dr. Hicks is not here. But there are 3 items from credentialing. Do you guys have any?
Yeah, they've all
Minutes.
passed through. Yeah, I have the minutes.
Okay.
In medical staff credentialing committee, reappointment for Dr. Lawrence, Dr. Kortner were made and passed, and then appointment to allied health staff for Roger Hess for PRN and ARNP.
Okay. So I need a motion from someone in regards to these reappointments and appointment.
I move that we reappoint Michael Lawrence, DO, to active staff.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Brown, a second by Hayla Simon to reappoint to active staff Michael Lawrence, DO. Roll call vote, please.
Simon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Gaspard,
Yes.
Randalls.
Yes.
The next item is the reappointment to courtesy staff Robert Kortner, DO.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint Robert Kortner, DO, to courtesy staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dr. Brown, a second by Jay to reappoint to courtesy staff Robert Kortner, DO. Roll call vote, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Gaspard,
Yes.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
And I'll
Next.
make a motion to appoint Roger Hess, APRN, to allied staff.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Brown, a second by Jay to appoint to allied staff Roger Hess, APRN. Roll call vote, please.
Ward,
Yes.
Gaspard,
Yes.
Randalls. Yes. Simon,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
You can do the rest of it.
Quappy.
I can give you a quick synopsis of it. if you want
Okay.
me to. We met last Wednesday to go over everything. You know, we have finally, of our first survey, got through the first 6 months of reviewing stuff, so a lot of those items are going to go away. Some of those items we're going to continue to monitor, some of them on a yearly basis, and some of them are going to be on a quarterly basis as well moving forward. We still got some items from the last survey that we need to continue to move on, and one of the things that was brought that Ashley took on to the medical staff was one of the items was talking to them about what we're looking at as far as for medical staff as well, for what they need to get done and what their scorecards are going to look like. Because as we move forward with credentialing and stuff, scorecards are going to be part of also the credentialing process. Also, we talked about a lot of the different items like the pharmacy keys, make sure that they're, who has the keys and stuff. Some of those processes we can get away from, some of them that we decide that it's something we need to continue to watch on a daily basis as well. Other than that, there was really no other item that came out of the meeting that was of any of just normal reporting. There was nothing that was out of the ordinary, should I say. We reported a lot of different items, but it was just stuff that we have to do on a routine basis to make sure that everybody's doing. So we're doing, as far as looking from our side of it, it looks like we're doing everything that we need to do going forward. So we feel pretty confident. So.
Okay. Are there any questions about co-oping? If not, we'll move on to improvement to patient care. There's a contract review of the different contracts that they went through and showed that they were all compliant. And then we have 3 items that we need to look at. One, well, first of all, is there any questions on the contract review? Or do you guys have anything to add to that? No? They were all compliant? Okay, the next item is the sedation delineation of privileges for Hina Ray, PA.
Oh my gosh, we need to practice that. Oh, I'm so proud of
What
you.
time did you get here to practice it?
I wasn't coming.
It just kept, you didn't think about it, it just rolled off his tongue.
All right.
Think about it.
What was that again? Can you say that one more time?
Oh, Jay. I read
Delineation.
With a
Okay.
serious face.
it. You practiced, I know you did.
All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'd make a motion that we approve the sedation delineation of privileges for Hina, is it Hina Ray?
Yes.
PA?
Second.
We have a motion by Jay Randalls, a second by Dr. Brown, to approve the sedation of delineation of privileges for Hina Ray, PA. Roll call vote, please.
Gaspard,
Yes.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
The next item is the credentialing policies and procedures. Was there any changes?
No.
Okay. I need a motion.
I'd make a motion to approve the credentialing policies and procedures.
Second.
I have a motion by Jay Randall, second by Hayla Simon, to approve the credentialing policies and procedures. Roll call vote, please.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Gaspard.
Yes. The last item is the Health Information Policy and Procedures Manual. Were there any changes to that?
There was not.
Okay.
I'd make a motion to approve the health information policy and procedures manual.
Second.
Is that you, Ward?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I had a motion by Jay Randalls, second by Steve Ward, to approve the Health Information Policy and Procedures Manual. Roll call vote, please.
Simon.
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Gaspard,
Yes.
Randalls.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Next item is the shared convalescent home report. Rita?
Okay, so Jerome Thomas, our ombudsman that comes to visit us monthly, provided in-service on abuse for the elderly. Tammy Mustard was in and she did a CPR training for the employees that has to participate. Our average daily census was down from July. It was 60 in July and we've gone down to 57. I think we're actually less than that right now. We've had people go home, come to the hospital, which is what we want. Those are the things we want. We did have 10 admissions to long-term care, and we had 3 new skilled admissions. Our skilled days, you can see we're down to 137 compared to 234, so you're welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And which for that month was really good for us. That is a transition month for new employees. Employees going back to school, the schedule, just all kinds of flexibility. So it actually, I think, worked out real well, trying to get stabilized. We still continue to get long-term care and skilled referrals, which we are referring those all to the hospital first for as many as they need, and we will take overflow. We have, 5 new employees. We did have 2 CMAs pass their NCLEX for LPNs. They are now orientating as LPNs, and hopefully we'll be able to push them out of the nest and they'll do their duties. We are still expecting our annual survey occurs for Medicare and Medicaid. They have not come, so they'll. They were here last year in August, towards the end of August. They've got up to, 15 months, so November's the edge. I figure next week or in October, who knows? It can't be this week, Christy's on vacation. She can't go on vacation.
Pretty sure you just did.
Pretty sure they'll be here in the morning.
No, it's Wednesday. I'm pretty certain. Maybe, who knows? We are expecting again in October. I don't know what Medicare has about October, but they always have huge updates for the MDS and the payment changes for long-term care. That was a positive thing, I think, for the hospital also. They do not have to comply with MDS anymore, which is really big. It's a huge process, so I'm jealous. It's always everybody at the nursing home. It's really a huge process. Anyway, so that's that. Do I have to talk about this one? Okay. Our operating cash balance for August was $22,536, which represents 2.2 days of operating expenses. Our accounts payable balance for August was $404,339. This represents 79.2 days of operating expenses, excluding salaries, benefits, depreciation. Convalescent home gross patient revenue for the month totaled $356,199, which was a $39,885 increase compared to the prior month. Total patient days for August were 1,798 compared to 1,881 in July. And contractuals, less bad debts, and charity care were at 5.1% of gross patient revenue. Convalescent home operating expenses, excluding salaries, benefits, and depreciation for August, totaled $141,119, an increase of $11,776 compared to the prior month. And Kevin, 11,000 on both things. That's interesting to me. Anyway, it's just kind of funny, I noticed it. Convalescent home salaries and wages for August totaled $164,033, which was an increase of $11,531 compared to the prior month. We had an operating loss of $5,025 and a net loss of $5,014. On page 2, that's just your year-to-date from March. I guess it's not year-to-date, it's just a 6-month average. And there's 2 months in there I don't like that, we all have them. We'll work harder. And then our 2-year, or year-to-year side-by-side. You see, if there's questions, y'all can see what I'm seeing. We continue to go up on our meals as far as the volumes. Our days continue to go up. Long-term care, I feel good right now about going into winter. I do have some beds available, but I also want to make those available in case there's overflow from the hospital. And then our balance sheet. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for Rita? If not, Kevin, I've got a question that something that she brought up, and I meant to ask this today in finance, but so the state made an increase on Medicaid,
Right.
and I think that's supposed to help the nursing home, it's supposed to help the hospital, it's supposed to help. Any idea yet what type of difference that maybe makes to the whole medical center?
I don't have a number for sure what it's gonna make. I know, like, the critical access point of it, based on what I've been told, it can make close to $4,000 or $5,000 a month difference for us on that side of it, for the Medicaid. And then nursing home, it was like $1 something a day, wasn't it?
Yes, but however, was that the net, because remember, they also went up on our quality of care fee.
Right.
So it was kind of a bittersweet thing.
So-
However, it was still an increase.
Increase,
So that'll come October 1st.
Okay, but between that, the hospital and our clinics,
I'm gonna say probably about $3,000 or $4,000 a month. net.
Total?
Yeah.
yeah. Well, better than kicking the rear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually that's what we get. All right, Rita, thank you. Next, the homestead report. Kelly?
The homestead had its 8th month in a row over 80% occupied, so that was good. September is probably only going to be 79%. So, but the good news is we had a good month, and 79% is not that bad if that's where we land for September. We talked quite a bit last month about our 20th anniversary, since it happened before the last authority meeting. But we've continued to have new and different activities at the homestead. We started working with some local instructors, I'll say, for different exercise programs on site at the homestead. So those started today, or I think they started today. And they took an outing today. They got away from the casinos and went to see the sod house, so down in Alene, and that sounds like that went very well. They came back with lots of stories and said, you need to take your kids there. And I don't know how many of us have grown up in this area and haven't been there, but apparently we need to go. So that was a good deal. We expanded services starting July 1st, and I'm pleased to report that those are doing better than break even, and we are presently accepting applications and interviewing for a new position to help us meet the new demand for services. So if you know any caring, wonderful people that would love to work with caring, wonderful people, send them my way. These are all non-medical, non-health related positions, but service related, all the same.
Is that part-time or full-time?
Full-time.
Okay.
The facility is, we were having quite a bit of work done leading up to the anniversary celebration. There's a little bit of work left to do. Dr. Brown was commenting before the meeting that he noticed there was equipment out at the pond, so maybe our pond is going to get its liner after all the fish have died and
all of our rain.
and all of our rain.
Have you already bought the liner?
Yes. I think so.
I was thinking maybe a nice fountain might look good on there.
It will have a fountain in it, but I hear you at this point. A splash pad would be great.
That would be hilarious.
Residents?
Whoever,
Raccoons from Canyon.
But so I do believe that with the equipment staged, it looks like work will ensue soon. We have a couple rooms that remain for flooring. Upstairs we have to have the laundry room and the beauty shop. The flooring will go in there that's been ordered. And then downstairs the receptionist's office and the administrator's office are getting new carpet. So that'll complete all of the flooring outside of the apartments, and we continue to refurbish apartments as people move out. Still some work to do in the activity room as well, but overall the whole thing is looking good on the inside. Got some work to do on the outside in the coming years. We did have to replace the proofer in the kitchen, so that's coming, as well as the barbecue grill that we use for our steaks and whatnot. So, the kitchen, rocking around along, fixing a lot of meals. Our Meals on Wheels service is picking up. We're at about 450 meals last month. And we offer that service 7 days a week, 2 meals a day. So if anybody needs that out in the community, it's something that we do provide at $6 a meal delivered. So,
When you deliver that, you just make one delivery and they get both meals, or do you deliver twice?
Twice a day.
Okay.
We deliver twice a day. And our within the city limits.
Drop off location.
Everything, things are going pretty good. We're going to have new menus come out by the end of this month. So October 1st, we'll not a lot of new items on our menu, but a couple new items and some heart healthy symbols or gluten-free symbols, or those kind of things to help residents make better decisions on what they choose off of our menu. There's almost everything that we have on our menu. We have an option that is going to be either low sodium or low fat or gluten-free. Not everything for every item. Fried catfish are still fried catfish. So, but we do bread our own catfish, so you can have a baked or grilled option. So we're going to make those things known in our menu and hopefully help our residents make better, healthier decisions for themselves, if they choose to. Finances. We had a total revenue of $73,864 in the month of August. That was down about $5,000, less than $5,000 from July. Our expenses were virtually even at $57,181, and our net was $16,682 net income for August. Year to date is on the next page, and we are our revenue, total operating revenue is up from $143,588 to $151,885. Our expenses are down from $128,833 to $114,614, and therefore our net is up almost 2.5 times where we were last August for year to date. So our net income is $37,272. And the biggest reason for that change is last year we had some pretty significant maintenance issues that we had to address July, August, October. So this is not having those issues this year makes a great difference. So happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Any questions for Kelly? If not, Kelly, is there a foundation report?
Briefly, Foundation Board will meet in October. We'll be appointing or reappointing our trustees, and we'll also be getting either appointing or reappointing a new SMC representative. We'll have the department heads do that tomorrow. The other thing is we did have one memorial fund established for Connie Allen, and we are still receiving donations as of yesterday, still receiving donations for that.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Next, Bridget, St. Anthony's report.
Okay, just a few items. I just wanted to let y'all know that Joe Hodges, who's our regional CEO for SSM Oklahoma, him and Kyle and myself are going to start doing our annual site visits. So he's scheduled, barring no changes of anything emergent coming up, they're scheduled to be here August 16th from 11 to 12.
August.
I'm sorry, October.
Just thought of
Give you a little
It'll be
notice.
next year.
next year.
A little notice.
Yeah, y'all
Plan
plan
ahead.
now for next year? Yes, no, October, it's written right there, October 16th,
Okay.
from 11 to 12. So I know that's kind of in the middle of y'all's work day, but if you have the opportunity to come, that would be great. Some of the, I think everybody's aware that this is a crucial year in healthcare, and I'm so glad that Sharon Medical Center was able to, convert to critical access. And I know there's still lots of bumps to get to before you get to the other side. With the reimbursement issue across the board, we're certainly having some more in-depth conversations at our level, regionally, because even when you get to that side, there's still a gap. I mean, even if you get to break even where you're, operationally you're okay, you still have capital items to consider. And, all the hospitals in our affiliate network, I feel like, have done all the items that they need to do to get, to strengthen. And then you kind of get to the point where there's not any new opportunities. I've heard folks that have gone to different seminars and different things over the past year, and nobody's coming up with any grand ideas of how to save rural hospitals. In the past, there used to be at least some opportunities when you maybe go, oh, I could do that, or I could do that, or what about this? But it's just becoming so slim. So we understand that we've got to recognize that and start preparing in the event that our affiliate partners need something more from us. So I know that those probably will be some things that Joe and Kyle will talk about, and it gives you the opportunity to ask any questions too from a kind of a strategic direction, kind of what they're thinking. He has asked us to prepare a full affiliate analysis to present to the executive staff sometime in the next month, in the next 30 days. Just so that all of them are aware of all of our affiliates and, what the pros and cons of each affiliation is. I personally see us aligning with probably 11 really strong partners, and probably evolving to that. Right now we have like 18 that have different relationships with us, but we really feel like that there's probably going to be more resources and more opportunities in the future that we're probably going to be faced with that we need to be prepared for. So those are things that are certainly heavy on our mind. I think most of y'all have probably seen the things with Paws Valley this week, and Sayre closed their doors again, I believe on August 22nd, and so we've been fearful, we've been talking about it even at an OHA level, that we're really fearful that this is going to be the year that some of the hospitals are going to hit their spot where they just can't do it anymore. And you know, the city of Paws Valley has gone way above and beyond to help that hospital, and I was sharing with Kelly, I think they're to the tune of about anywhere between $6 and $8 million in debt for the hospital. And they have a sales tax that, you know, eventually pay them back, but that's a large price tag. So those are certainly things that are on our mind, and as we approach the next, you know, 12, 18, 24 months. Kind of what, and I think everybody's asking that question too. And Candace knows that the OHA Office of Rural Health has been campaigning for a different reimbursement model. And with y'all being in critical access, that's great, but there's a lot of hospitals that are much, much smaller than this, that are critical access hospitals that might not be able to keep their inpatient beds. And you know, healthcare in general and rural wants to be sure that there's emergency care in those communities. I think it's so important. And so they're working collectively for a model, a different reimbursement model that would allow at least that to be available in the communities instead of just having, you know, clinics, which if they don't come up with a model, then these hospitals are going to become community clinics, and unfortunately. So I think we're keeping a close eye on that from an OHA rural perspective as well too. So other than that, I think the stroke education should be starting pretty soon if it hasn't already happened. Y'all should be getting scheduled for that. Dr. Shakir joined us a couple of weeks ago, so our developer's been getting him out. He's the kind of missing piece that we've been talking about for our comprehensive stroke center, so they're going to be educating the affiliates on that as they're doing their stroke education, and then I believe somebody's going to present at the next affiliate meeting so that the executive leaders understand kind of where we're at with that too. So that gives us the opportunity to take some of the patients in the past that we haven't had the ability to take, that have had to go to OU.
So this is the guy that can actually go into the brain and retrieve a clot out, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we're pretty excited to have him, and it kind of rounds out the team. And neurosurgery and neurology has kind of been interesting. You know, it goes through ways where there's availability and there's no availability. And right now we happen to have recruited well, and we're kind of at the top of we've got availability. So we have a good, nice rounded team that helps us with participating in ER calls, trauma call schedules. So we're hoping we can pick up a few more days on trauma call as well too. So, because those are opportunities that we miss out on taking care of our affiliate patients, because they do get transferred off to OU. And so we'd like to keep them within our community so we can make sure they get back to your community too as well. So we're super excited to have him, but Kyle and Joe will have more of the overall kind of picture of what's going on at our place regionally, and then what's happening at a corporate level. So
Do you have 4 campuses to run? Or am I off?
we have 4 health plexes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are they all still staying really full?
The only one that's a little slow is the Mustang campus. And there's lots of different reasons for that, because there's a lot of healthcare around there. In Canadian Valley, Integris Canadian Valley has always been very strong. I think actually in the Integris network is probably the second strongest hospital that they have. So there's a lot of competition in that community, but the other ones are going very, very well. Our south campus took a little while to kind of grow, but the more that Southwest Oklahoma City is growing in that area, it continues to grow. So I think Mustang's probably the only one that, we're making up the difference for what we're getting in Oklahoma City, but being self-sustainable, and Mustang's probably the only one that at this point has a little ways to go. So, Integris is building their micro hospitals right now. They're bringing up all 4 of them at once. So if you're driving through the city, you'll see their facilities coming up. They've got one on I-40 West, more or less in Del City, and then there's one in where you can't really tell where Moore turns into Norman. There's one right there. And I'm not sure where the other 2 are. They're kind of in the other side of Oklahoma City in the metro area, but they're literally coming up all at the same time. So we're not real sure, how that's going to impact. The healthcare in Oklahoma City is just kind of interesting right now because it's like, we've kind of all felt over a period of time that there would only be kind of like 3 leaders in the market. And so I think everybody's kind of positioning themselves to that. Because at some point in time, there's going to be so much competition that we're all weeding ourselves out. So somebody is going to win in the end, I don't know. So it's just really interesting to watch what's kind of going on. I know we have some strategies that Joan and Kyle might share. I'm not sure how far along they are with them on kind of what our next steps are for the market as well. But it's just, like I said, it's really interesting to kind of watch what's going on in the market right now.
All right, any other questions for Bridget? Not? Bridget, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Bo is not here. Kelly, do you have anything from a city council report that you'd like to share?
We're good. I'm checking on the sales tax.
All right, thank
I
you.
don't have a response yet.
I understand. All right. I don't really have anything other than I might just share that Jay and Dr. Brown and I met with Candace and Kevin in finance today, and one of the things that we talked about is just that on while we have earned the critical access designation, it still is waiting on all those funds to start kicking in, and we think we maybe got a portion
Yes.
of what the first check might have been, or a portion of that, and so hopefully by the next time we meet, we'll be able to say that those are flowing in on a regular basis. But there are no items of new business. We will adjourn. Thank you.